Welcome to our early career preparation panel sponsored by the Graduate Student Council. I'm Nicholas McCarroll. I'm a geography PhD student. I am a committee member on the Professional Development Committee, and I'm really happy to see everyone here at the event today. I'm going to introduce our panelists for today, and then I'll talk about how the panel will go. So our first panelist member is Dr. Thruthi Narayanu, an assistant professor in the Department of Plant and Environmental Sciences at Clemson University. We have Dr. Rajarshi Paul Chowdhury, a research engineer at Cosmic Shielding Corporation in Georgia. We have Dr. Nundu Na Weliriya, who is an assistant professor in the Department of Physics and Astronomy at the University of Georgia. And Dr. Ashish Kumar, a scientist at Sanofi in Boston. So I'm happy you all are able to speak with us today. So for this event, it's going to be a panel. So each one of the panelists will answer some questions from both me as the moderator and those in chat, and as well as I'll open it up to the general Zoom meeting panel if you guys want to talk and not type. But I have some questions to start our conversation. And so I'll start with 3 and then I'll open it up to everyone. And then if no one responds, I'll keep on asking some questions for some conversation. So let's begin. The first question is just for each of our panelists to provide a brief introduction of your educational and professional background. And as the moderator, I have the power to pick who will start. So why don't we go in reverse order and start with Dr. Kumar first and work backwards. So
thank you. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me at this panel discussion for job hunting with current students. And I'm really happy to be the part of this. So I would start mentioning about myself that I'm an international student, because I'm sure that a lot of people might be having questions regarding that as well. So before coming to United States, I did my bachelor's in biotechnology and master's in genomics from India itself. And then I moved to United States for my PhD education. Considering my professional background, so I have 1-year work experience in India in a research institution as a research fellow. So the topic of my research, if I briefly mention, that was about elucidating the role of host pathogen interaction in Mycobacterium tuberculosis infection in humans. So ultimately in PhD, I was enrolled in biochemistry and molecular biophysics department, and I joined Dr. Philip Cleva's lab for my PhD research. And that my work was also related to protein biochemistry or something like that. So I'm basically from microbiology, molecular biology, and biochemistry background person. So you can ask a couple of questions to me regarding that direction as well. Thank you. Oh yeah, I can mention quickly that right now I finished my PhD in 2021, August. So it's quite recent. And currently I'm working in Sanofi Pharmaceutical in the research and development unit as a scientist in Boston. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Dr. Weliriya.
Okay, thank you. And also, again, thank you for having me. And I'm Nandana Weliriya. I started my physics undergrad back from Sri Lanka, and I joined KSU Physics Department in 2013 fall, and I did my both master's and PhD in the physics education research group, where I looked at how students solve physics problems, how we could improve the instructions in physics classes, intro level, upper division. And I finished my PhD in 2019 summer. Soon after, in 2019 fall, I got this assistant professor position at UGA, University of Georgia, Athens. And I'm right here, my third year here. Then I'm doing research and teaching. Then I have mentored students, and I'm doing instructions for engineering physics classes, and was fortunate enough to got some couple of awards for teaching and research as well. So again, thank you, K-State, for the opportunities created for us to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Dr. Chowdhury.
Hey guys, thanks for inviting me here. So I have quite a diverse background. I did my bachelor's of technology in electronics and communication engineering from India. And then I certainly changed my major, and I moved towards nuclear engineering. And I did my master's in IIT Kanpur, Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur there. And then I moved into Missouri for doing my PhD in spring of 2014. And while I was there, I realized that the research topic that I was working is not quite of my interest. So after 2 years working there, I got my Master's of Science from Missouri University of Science and Technology. And then I transferred to K-State for my PhD because I find the topic of my PhD very interesting. And since then, I worked from 2016 fall to 2020 fall in nuclear engineering, and I got my PhD and also sensitive space electronics and space equipment. And since then, I have currently, this is my second company I joined in 2020 at an Israeli-American startup-based company, which works in space sector, making radiation vests for astronauts. And I actually left that job in this year, February, and joined a new company, which focuses on providing shielding protection, radiation shielding for sensitive electronics in different orbits like low Earth orbit, geosynchronous orbit, etc.
Thank you. And finally, we will hear from Dr. Narayanu.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shruti Narayanan. I'm an assistant professor of crop science at Clemson University. Before I start talking, let me tell you one thing. I was under weather for the past few days, and I have a terrible cold and some fever. So I may cough a lot in between. So please pardon me if I do that a lot. And this is not my original voice too. I lost my voice too. Maybe I'll get it back in a couple of days. Okay, so anyway, I'm an assistant professor of crop science in the Department of Plant and Environmental Sciences at Clemson. Regarding my background, I did my bachelor's in agriculture from Kerala Agriculture University in the state of Kerala in India. I'm originally from India. And I completed my bachelor's in 2007. And after that, I worked as a farm manager in a regional agricultural research station in India itself. And then I came to the United States for my master's in agronomy at K-State in 2009, January. And I worked with Dr. Rob Aiken, who is a crop scientist in the Colby Research and Education Center, which is part of the Kansas State University Experiment Station system. And I completed my master's in agronomy in 2011, and I continued in the same department for PhD. And I worked with Dr. Varaprasad for my PhD program. And my specialization is in crop physiology and metabolism. I finished my PhD in 2015 May, and in a couple of months, I started my position at Clemson University. So that's my background. And I would leave it to Nicholas, I guess.
All right, thank you all again for giving us your background. I guess I'll ask our first panel question. Besides the skills you acquired directly from your main research project during your studies, what other activities were you involved in, or resources you utilized or skills you developed that helped you the most when applying for jobs or positions once you were out of your degree? I guess I could either call on a panelist, or whoever wants to talk first can go. I'm not partial, so. Oh.
I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so there are multiple questions inside. What skills you have developed or activities? So during my PhD, I was fortunate enough to work in a project of NASA. So my advisor, who was an ex-employee of NASA, Dr. Amir Bahadori, he got a project to do in collaboration with NASA, which deals with active shielding, basically using electromagnetic fields to provide radiation protection solution in space. So during that project, I learned a lot of skill sets, like using radiation transport tools, and also using the Beocat, the high performance computing system that K-State has, which is a very unique and very strong HPC system, and learning that how to work with HPC system with multiple parallel processing computers and GPUs has helped a lot, because the work that I'm presently doing also requires extensive usage of high performance computing system. So that was one of the help that I got during my PhD. And also, apart from that, regarding the soft skills, I was a GTA for 2 semesters. So I attended those GTA teaching workshops that K-State has. And also I was the student secretary of the American Nuclear Society KSU chapter, which helped me collaborating with many people. I arranged, sometimes there are speakers who come every week, or like every bi-weekly. So that was a good collaboration process. And apart from that, I actually used to join Toastmasters, which was in K-State, to improve my verbal communication skills. That I think that there was one in Union. So this kind of the activities, apart from my basic course, sort of helped me groom myself for industry positions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nandana, do you want to go ahead next?
Okay, thank you. So I would say, because I am mostly related to the academia, I would say the most helpful thing for me was the teaching ability I acquired through the K-State, and the science communication ability, because most of the time when we as graduate students, when we get done with our PhD program, many of us has really high skills with the research component, but let's practice with the teaching ability. And also, as I am involved here at UGA training our graduate students, something I emphasize the most is the science communication. Within a given time, we should be able to get what the research I am doing, no matter if you are going to be a teaching position or a high research profile. Like, someone should go there to the Capitol Hill, explain what I am doing as a research program. You need to get money. There should be funding. So we should explain it to someone. So there were multiple opportunities that I am really thankful at K-State I went through, and I will list a few. I made a list. So the science communication fellowship program that I worked with the Sunset Zoo and the Sciencom something through the Kansas something we had. So this was a really good opportunity. I had the chance every Saturday or every other week, I was able to go to the Sunset Zoo, meet with the kids, school kids, elementary school kids, or the upper school kids, talk about the physics, talked about the science, small experiments. So it was a really, really good, refreshing experience, and also the writing retreat program that happens closer to every summer. That was very wonderful opportunity to make sure we get this teaching philosophy, and anything we write down, get the feedback from the professionals. I use that opportunity. And also every spring also we had that art and discovery grad forum where we present our research work. So I use that opportunity as a preparation for our annual conferences, which happens during the summertime. So always it was a initial deadline for me to get ready and present, and always talking to an interdisciplinary community that I am getting practice about the science communication. Also, this one right here, what you guys are doing, graduate school professional development certificate, I did that. I had the certificate. In fact, in 19 fall summertime, when I was applying for this spring and summer, and at UGA, when I was doing the interview, there were 2 faculty members in the committee. They exactly asked me about this certificate. So what you guys do, what kind of experience you are getting. So really, really useful in that regard. And also graduate teaching assistant professional certificate, that teaching seminars we have been there, then still I use some of that game-based active learning components, which I learned from one of those seminars. So really useful opportunities, everything that whatever we do that will go as a line in our CV, which makes it very strong. And also later on in your career, we have an opportunity to use them. And also one last thing, I was a part of the graduate student leadership development program. That should be through the leadership school, something, I don't remember the exact term for that, but it was a 1 semester or 1.5 semesters long, every other week meetings that was about leadership development. So how to help others, students engage with others. So these are the activities I was a part, and everything was very, very helpful for me.
Thank you. How about we hear from Dr. Kumar?
Sure. So as they have mentioned in the question itself, that apart from your main project, so I'm sure that we want to build our CV. So a couple of things we need to do definitely to build our CV, and that would be co-aligning which are personal and professional development. So the number one is participation in the competition. So K-State provides ample opportunities to present your work in a lot of research forum. For example, research and state poster presentation, oral presentation, capital research forum, 3-minute thesis presentation, and you can present your work in international conference. So I was actively involved in them. So getting the work done by yourself in the lab and presenting that in international conferences and any other platform gives you definitely the confidence to develop your skills as a public speaker and communicate with other people as well. Apart from that, I was actively involved in teaching assistantship. So throughout my PhD in K-State for 5 years or 6 years, I was actively involved in teaching. So that is one of the important and the most important part I enjoyed at K-State, because when you're talking to diverse students from diverse background, undergraduates, so it gives you immense improvement in your communication skills and your public speaking skills. So I would say it's important to participate in the competition. And apart from that, they have mentioned about teaching and research related awards. So there are ample opportunities. People can nominate you at college level, department level, or even at university level. So my point is ultimately that try to get the idea that what's going on in K-State apart from your main project as well. So it gives you definitely some idea to boost your CV or resume, whatever you're feeling to make it. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you. And finally, Dr. Narayanu.
Okay, so the question was about skills I could develop apart from my main project or research. Maybe I would take a step backward. I would like to mention something about a very useful training that I had, which is related to my main research or main program. that was about the interdisciplinary training that I got from K-State, which I guess was the most important thing that helped me get my current position. Because for a crop scientist, this interdisciplinary expertise is very, very important. And as part of my position, the work I do here spans from production agronomy to cellular level physiology and genetics. And I was trained in that right way in K-State agronomy. And I'm very grateful to my mentors at K-State and the people who directed my research in that direction, because my research was highly interdisciplinary and the research labs at K-State agronomy was highly interdisciplinary. So that training, I would really like to point out that helped me to acquire the right skill sets that made me a suitable candidate for this position. That helped me not only in research, but in teaching too, because as part of this position, my current position, there was a teaching appointment as well. I have a 50% teaching appointment, and I teach multiple courses. I teach 6 courses at Clemson. And the courses span from crop science to agricultural biotechnology. So later, when I started my position at Clemson, I learned from my colleagues that they could not find other applicants who had expertise in that wide range. So I guess that interdisciplinary training in my main program helped me very much to be a good suitable candidate for this position. Now, let me come to the main question. The skills I learned apart from my major program. I agree with Dr. Kumar. So he mentioned that boosting our CV would be very important, and whatever we could do to boost our CV would be very useful for getting a good position or the position that we really want later on. I completely agree. And one thing that has helped me very much for that is pursuing some research and other types of awards at K-State. And I was fortunate that we had great mentors at K-State who spend time to identify deserving students and nominate them for national and regional awards. So I could win some of those awards, and that has helped me to improve my CV quite a bit. And another one, participation in professional events. That has helped me more than anything to build very important skills that are very useful and critical for whatever I'm doing right now. For example, I presented in close to 20 national, regional, or university level professional meetings. So as part of those presentations, as part of many of those presentations, I could publish abstracts or papers as well, which helped me to enhance my publication numbers as well. And I could also win presentation awards that helped me to boost my CV. And most importantly, I could widen my professional network through the participation in professional events, especially the national level professional society meetings. So our lab used to participate heavily in the national professional society meetings and regional professional society meetings. And through those meetings, I could interact with the top minds, top scientists in our field, in the country, and the international scientists as well. And that has helped me more than anything to broaden my professional network, which is helping me more than anything right now in my position, because identifying right collaborators for your program is one of the key things for the success of your program in academia. That has helped me very much. And some other things that has helped me in my to find my current position and to thrive in my position is teaching assistantship and mentoring of undergraduate students. I did not do an official teaching assistantship at K-State. I was completely a research assistant, but still my advisor provided me with some opportunities to assist in his teaching of courses. So that has helped me very much, because when I was interviewed for my current position, which had a 50% teaching appointment, I could still manage to do well in the teaching part because of the training that my mentors provided to me during my graduate education. So I just assisted in their courses, but that was tremendously helpful. And mentoring of undergraduate students. In academia, that's one of the main things that you do as part of your job. So to be a good mentor, the right training for being a great mentor is also very important. And my mentors, again, gave me good opportunities to work with undergraduate student interns and build our mentoring skills. So that has also helped me tremendously. And one more thing, the participation in professional events, especially the national level professional society meetings, has helped me very much in terms of enhancing my communication skill as well. Because as other people already mentioned, science communication is key in establishing yourself in academia and in other fields as well. So the participation in professional events has helped me very much to boost my communication skills as well.
Thank you. So I'm gonna move on to our next question. So when did you all start preparing your CV or resume? When did you start applying for jobs? And what resources helped you when searching and applying for those jobs? And give everyone like a couple seconds to think about it, and then I will call on someone. How about we start with Dr. Welliwari, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I would say applying for the jobs happen during very stressful time when we are finishing off the thesis. That's the time during my last semester. So I was planning graduating in the last week of spring semester 2019. So usually the academic jobs to start in the fall, they start posting the previous fall. Then it will be 2018, September, October time. They open these positions. So that is the time while you are planning, yes, I need to finish my thesis, write it down, I have to defend, and also you need to look for the opportunities. So I was involved in physics education research. So there is one website, PER Jobs, PER Jobs. And that's something always when there's a hot, very good physics education related job is there, then people keep posting in there. It's a blog. And also AAPT Career Center, American Association of Physics Teacher Career Center, and also search Google. There were many places I could find. And I would say I took one of the courses. I'm really sorry, I'm talking many connections to the physics because that was where I am engaged in. I took one class that was about teaching university physics. And I believe from the College of Education, there will be many of these type of courses you could take. That was a upper division level undergrad course, but again, I was able to enroll in that. As a part of that class, I was very much engaged about the pedagogy, making instructions better for the students, and also how to behave as an effective TA. So research-wise, we had experiences watching videos, making discussions, reading papers, even though it is very connected to the work what I did, but it's also a really good experience working with the other undergraduate students, looking from their perspective as well. And as a part of that course, I had the opportunity to create the teaching philosophy document, which is a must when we are applying for an academia job. So I created that as a part of the course, and also the writing fellowship, writing retreat programs. I went to the writing center. Always there was someone to look through my statements and check it for me and keep updating those activities. So also there were resources. Your advisor is going to share. There's a job opening. They have connections everywhere. So as one of our panel panel members mentioned, the connections these advisors have very, very helpful. So little by little during the last 2 semesters, we have to bring these together, looking forward to where you want to be. And one of the advices I would give, I was looking and I wanted to be a faculty teaching and doing research, but also because I was, and still I'm an international, so making the OPT, to the OPT, we have the ability to stay here legally. So I started applying for the postdoc positions, 4-year colleges, big universities, everywhere I could apply. Then when you apply 10, 15 positions, if you get a few, you have the choice to, you will be in the driving seat to make the choice. This is where I want to go. So that's one thing I would definitely advise. Don't make a choice at the beginning, apply for everything, then later you can make a decision. Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Why don't we hear from Dr. Chowdhury?
Thanks, Nicholas. So I would say I graduated, I plan to graduate by spring 2020. So I started this making the CV cover letters, I think around September, October for 2019. But unfortunately, due to the COVID, my dissertation got a bit delayed. So I graduated in summer, but nevertheless, I would say I started at least 7 to 8 months prior to my graduation date. And for finding job listings, I've mentioned that my major was nuclear engineering. So therefore, a lot of, as Dr. Ueli mentioned, that international people have some limited exposures, and mine was even more limited because most of these jobs, since they're government and government projects, it involves US citizenship. So I knew that my job sector is very much shrinked because of that, since I'm not a US citizen. So I contacted different companies and including startups before graduating, because they don't have that kind of regulations in their companies. So and also I looked it up in LinkedIn. LinkedIn was basically my first preference, and also Glassdoor for academia related jobs. Although I did not apply too many academia related jobs, because in my stream, it's unless you do like a postdoc in 2-3 years, it's very unusual to get a position in nuclear engineering faculty level. So I was, my advisor told me that you are not yet ready for academia jobs. And also I used the help of the graduate student service for checking my CVs. They helped me quite a lot for preparing my CV, one template, a cover letter, and also my advisor sort of checked my cover letters when I was applying for different jobs. So if your advisor is helpful, you can use him or her too for checking your checking your cover letters and CVs and stuff. And also, I would say that as before, it is mentioned that try to network with different people. So having network and connecting to people asking for either a postdoctoral position or industrial position long before you graduate, it's a kind of a smart thing to do, because sometimes for postdoctoral positions, they will not have funding immediately, but they can tell you that I may have funding in 6 months, or some person that I know will have funding in recently or have funding now. So reaching out to people is also important, even if there is not a direct job opening. That's what I have found. And also try to sometimes I may be digressing from the main topic. Okay, so yeah, these are the, so I'll sum it up in few key points. Is that prepare your resume and CV at least 7-8 months before your graduation. Try to do LinkedIn job search, contact professionals and professors in different of your major, and also reach out to industry people. Sometimes they have they don't have any position opening, but when they see your CV and your capabilities, they might think, well, we can somehow accommodate these people, which actually happened in my case. and also take the advantage of this proofreading of your cover letters, your CV, resume by different professionals in K-State. So yeah, that is basically my summed up points.
All right, thank you. How about we hear from Dr. Narayanu?
Okay. So the first question was that when did I start preparing my CV? So I used to update my CV as soon as something happens. And that occurred once every month when I was a graduate student. And that was actually a culture that my advisor inculcated in me. He used to emphasize a lot on the importance of updating CV very regularly. And that was a very helpful advice. And even now I follow his advice. Right now I update my CV every week or multiple times a week. And I guess that may be something that everybody in academia does. Otherwise you cannot thrive or survive in academia. But anyway, back in Kansas State, I started doing that. And when I was in K-State, I tried to get help from the Career Center to improve my CV or writing my job applications or finding job position. I mean, open positions or coming up with my applications and all. But I would say the Career Center was not that helpful for me. Their advices were very general and maybe more helpful for undergraduates looking for jobs, or maybe more helpful for graduate students in other disciplines like engineering or business or related disciplines. So their advices were not that helpful for me, but they indeed helped me to format my CV and other materials and make them look better, or some kind of beautification or things like that. So in that way, they were helpful. But the resources at K-State that helped me the most in terms of preparing my CV and other materials for job applications was my mentors and my fellow graduate students. My mentors used to forward me the job position postings. And then I could approach them to show them my application materials. In academia, you need to have CV, and as Nandana mentioned, teaching statement, research statement, and many other stuff. So I was fortunate to have great mentors in my department. They took time to read my application materials and make suggestions and edits or comments. So that was super helpful. And many of those comments have helped me to completely redo my application materials. So my mentors were the best resources that I had in preparing my application. And also I used to look at the job postings on our professional society websites, because I wanted to go to academia. So those type of positions were always posted on the websites of our National Professional Society. So that website was very helpful for me. And my mentors used to forward whatever job postings came through their way to me as well. So those were all very helpful. And another question was that when did I start applying for jobs? I started looking for jobs in the last year of my PhD, and toward the end of the first semester in the last year, I sent out my first application for a faculty job. I got an interview call. That was not the best position I looked for, but Nandana made a very an excellent point. And this is an advice that one of my mentors gave me when I was a graduate student. Try to do at least one interview before the interview for the job that you really, really want. Because the first one, you will be practicing. you will be getting a hang of, you'll be trying to get a hang of it in your first interview, so that by the time the interview call for your suitable position comes up, you are in a better position to perform in a much better way. And that exactly was the case in my case too. So I went for my first interview. It was a great experience, but I did not get that job. But then the next one came up, which is my current position. So I applied for that job. And at that point, I could do much better job in terms of preparing the application. And I got an interview call. I could do much better in the interview as well. And I got that position. And I applied for a third position as well. But I withdrew my application because I got this position before that. So this was the second one I applied. But anyway, I did this interview at Clemson 1 week after my PhD defense, and I got this one. So that was my journey in terms of preparing my application, finding resources, things like that.
All right. Thank you. And finally, Dr. Kumar.
Sure. So question number one is, when did I start preparing my resume or CV? So I always wanted to go in for industrial position, but I always try to have backup for postdoc as well. So this is, I think, one of the smart thing you should keep in your mind. So let's say if I am graduating in summer, this summer 2022, so August is the deadline. So I would be having my CV or resume by this time for sure. So because your CV or resume, you should start preparing in the starting of graduate school itself, because you'll be going to conferences, you'll be going to present your work in different national or regional level conferences. So you should have your CV, but for sure that at the end of the graduate school, you should have your refined CV. So I used to follow the NIH pattern for my preparation of my CV. So one thing I specifically want to mention you, if anyone is looking for industrial position related to my field, I never prepared resume. People say that for the industry position, you should prepare your resume. But I was like, this is my first position and I am targeting for research and development position. So this is something related to my academic background. So I wanted to show all the skill set and all the stuffs we have done in our graduate school time period. So CV definitely would be around 3 or 4 pages long, and resume usually people prefer 1 or 2 pages, so you cannot show your skill set in your resume for sure. But there are other positions for which resume is must and the CV is not going to help. So when did I start applying for jobs? So this is the time I would start looking for the jobs slowly, but before that I started making the connection of the LinkedIn. So this is one of the important factor I found, for me at least, when I was applying for the job applications. So what I used to do that in the LinkedIn, the company which I like, I would go there, and on the corner you can see that who are the K-State alumni working over there. So open their profile, try to connect with them. And in industry, unfortunately, this is a culture over there that if someone is referring you for a job, so at least your application would be in the hand of hiring manager, and that is a scientist. So this way you can reach on LinkedIn to the K-State alumni and they can refer you for the position. So this is one of the thing you can play with. And one of the other resources I would like to mention is one of the JobScan. So one important thing is we cannot put the same CV for each and every job application. So you will have to modify your CV or resume, whatever you are making, for each position differently. So this application, which is JobScan, which helped me a little bit, because there is a software when you are applying for the industrial position, which is called, I think, ATS. So this look for the keywords for your jobs and the CV match. So if it is matching more than 80%, they will pick your application and it will directly go to your hiring manager, and you have more chances at least to get interviewed. So in the JobScan, I used to scan it and I used to match my CV keywords to the job profile. So it helped a little bit. And you can try to see the free webinars on Cheeky Scientist. So they can also help you how to prepare your CV, how to prepare your resume. But as Shruti and Rajarshi both mentioned, your advisor, your immediate advisor or your mentor is your best friend. So first go to that person because they will give you the best advice to improve your CV and resume. And that's what the case for me as well. So very thankful to those people. Yeah, I think these are all the points I have for this question. And for the preparation for the interviews. So I think when you have the interview call, so one thing is about your research, because 1 or 2 interviews will be only about your research and you know better than anyone about your research. So focus on preparing the seminar or your research. And the third one will be the casual talking with a lot of people of the interview panel. So I think you can prepare those interview questions easily from the Google, and you can find a couple of questions from Google, and they have the set of questions which are fixed for each kind of interview, so you can work on them very easily. So I think that's all I have to say about this.
All right. Thank you. So I will open up to the general audience if they have any questions so far, would like the panelists to talk about or ask. If not, I have some more questions for you guys. Oh, someone
I have
raised.
a question. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so as someone who's fortunate to have had great mentors, I really appreciate the advice all of you have given about, you know, using your mentors as resources to advance your career. But, you know, in graduate school, I've met students who were not so lucky as myself. What advice would you give to those students who don't have great mentors?
All right.
I would like to make a comment to Zolian's question. Before answering to Zolian's question, let me tell you something. Zolian worked with me for his master's at Clemson. He was such an excellent student and one of my best students. And he's working on a great PhD program at K-State, and I'm very happy to meet with him again on this at this event. What a great honor to be in such an event with one of your graduate students. So I'm so happy to have Zolian here. Anyway, let me make a comment as an answer to Zolian's question. So one thing that has tremendously helped me to prepare for interviews was attending other faculty interviews in the department. And maybe I would say the most helpful thing I had at K-State. So during the final year of my PhD, when I was thinking about applying for faculty jobs, I was very serious about attending other faculty interviews in the department. And I was very fortunate. We had so many faculty interviews in the department during that time. It gave me great ideas about how I can make a great opening for the seminar, the interview seminar, and how I can draw attention of the students and faculty about our program, and how we can connect even our personal life with our professional life and present it in a very appealing way. So I learned so much from how other people are handling the situation. And I also interacted with the candidates during the interaction sessions between the students and the candidate. That has helped me quite a bit. These two things help me to identify what is a very bad practice during an interview and what is a advisable practice, or advisable practices and bad practices during the interview. So learning through experience. Another thing, fellow graduate students, you would definitely be able to find fellow graduate students who would be interested in the same type of positions in which you are interested. So go talk to them. I did that, and I could learn a lot from my fellow graduate students. they help me to modify my application materials as well. So other applicants who would be coming to your department and other graduate students would be two other important resources that you could try for.
Thank you. Anybody else wanna?
I can mention a couple of points for sure. So Julian, so one of the thing I understand that everyone is not fortunate to have a good mentor for sure. But apart from that, you have a couple of people who are in your committee, which we call them committee member. So trust me, it's not only your mentor who would be able to help everyone. I mean, if you'll go them in, if you'll reach out to them, they would be happy to help you. And these are the small things they would really help you in that. The other things I used to do, like talk to your seniors, because they have gone through this process, and this is even sometimes better than your mentors. They can tell you much more about what's going on in industry or in academic settings recently or currently right now. What's the situation right now the people are looking for the job application. So these are really resourceful if you talk to your seniors who are already in some kind of industry or in academic position, so they can help you a bit. Plus there are some other resources, free resources, for example LinkedIn. And I don't know, I did not use it, but there is a free option where you can send your resume and people can help you to build your resume or CV. So these kind of things you can also look for. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Anyone else want to respond to our question from the audience? If not, if anyone else in the audience, oh, I have something from the chat. Could you share your process of choosing between staying in academia or moving to the industry? Dr. Kumar might have insights on that since he's talked about it quite a bit. But,
Sure. One of the important thing, because maybe this is only my thing, in academy, sometimes what problems you face about the funding, even though you have a great projects. For example, we were working on a project, but we did not get the funding. So that was kind of frustrating. We tried a couple of times. So in industrial settings, you won't be having such problem because they have a huge funding, and the work, if you are interested in doing, you can do it pretty easily. For example, I was working in the bacterial pathogens in my PhD position. I was completely satisfied, but a couple of things which I realized that because I always wanted to work directly related to human pathogen or human disease. So right now, so this is the place where I am right now, working on blood disease and muscle diseases, so which is kind of I always wanted to do. And even if you are going for academic position, if I would have opted for academic position, so I would be working on 1 or 2 projects in the same line. But in industrial position, you get an edge to work on different projects if you are interested in multiple ones. So this is one of the things I would mention it over here. And the other thing about the funding for sure. Yeah. And I can think about this. I can think immediately about this point only. If I'll come up with something else, I'll put it on the chat section.
I think I'll go try to. Yeah, I agree with Ashish in the points that there are some advantages. It really depends on your interest, what you want to do. Like if you're determined to go to academia, then of course you'll do that. But if you think that you are not willing to write funding proposals, or you just want to focus on your work, so I think industry will be a better option for you. And also in some fields, the academia may be stagnated. So there are very less conversion from postdocs to faculty. It depends on your stream basically. So in that cases, you kind of forced to move to other options such as industry. In my case, I actually moved to industry because there are, first of all, to go to academia, as I mentioned, the conversion rate is very low in our stream because it's a small field, and rarely there is, if any position comes up, it is for people who have been faculty for 5-10 years. So after going from PhD to faculty was next to impossible. So the two options that I had was to either go for a postdoc or industry. So I was determined. So if I only get postdocs in like national labs or like research facilities, I will do that. Otherwise, I will go to industry. But luckily, I got a chance. Like even before I finished my graduation, I got a offer from one of the. It was a startup-based company. And so another thing that I want to bring in this topic is when you're looking for industry, there are based on your stream, there may be a lot of small companies which are starting, and they require graduates who just did their PhD or masters. So I would suggest finding these companies and try connecting with them, because sometimes they have instead of like multiple scientists, they need one good scientist who can give them the required amount of research or data that they need. So so that will be a that can be a better option for some of you. So I would suggest to connect with different level of industry, be it a big company or a startup based company. So and for deciding between academia and industry, I would say it's based on your interest. There are some advantages in academia, like you get to work, sort of you decide what will you do. You have that independence, and also you so that's something that is not there, not very much there in industry, because then the industry has a specific goal and you have to sometimes go along with it. So that is one advantage of academia. And yeah, that is basically my 2 cents.
Hey, thank you.
Maybe I would add a few comments here. So in my case, I from early on, I knew that I want to go to academia or to an international research agency. One thing I really like about academia is that we have the professional freedom at its most in academia. You are basically the boss for yourself, and you are deciding how your program is going to be, and you are doing what you really want to do, and you're not doing anything just because you are told to do that. Here, no one is going to tell you what you want to do. I mean, what you need to do, but you do what you want to do. That is the professional freedom that we have in academia. I really, really enjoy that. Of course, funding is the most stressful part as part of academia. That's exactly true. But still, you can selectively apply to those grant calls where your idea is going to fit in. So basically, you are designing your program. Another great thing about academia is your ability to work with students. And that's one of the most enjoyable part in my job. Working with students and seeing how your students are growing as the next generation scientists. And nothing in this world can give me more satisfaction than that. And I cannot think of another career that I would be enjoying more than this, because if I cannot think of a day without my students, basically, that is it.
Thank you. We have a question directly for Thruthi. It is, do you have some tips about how to make a good CV for academia? And then I'll also open it up to the other panel members if they have any insights, but we'll start with Thruthi.
Okay, so I mean, I can talk in an academia perspective where I am right now. So to make a good CV for academic positions, the most important thing would be your publications. So get as many good publications as possible. Number is very important, but it's not only a number game. The quality of your work and quality of your publications is very important. So the most important thing on your CV that your employers would be looking at would be your publications, and then your awards, presentations, those kind of professional development activities, and your, honors and awards, of course. That's an indication that someone else have recognized your merit. So that's very important. And the type of skill set that you have. If your research program, if your research training matches with the requirements of the program, that would be very important. And another thing, there is no one good CV that fits for all the different positions. I used to modify I did not apply for so many jobs, only for 3 jobs. But for each of those 3 applications, I made a lot of modifications in my CV, because I looked at the position description and then modified my CV accordingly to highlight those skill sets which would be most meaningful for the open position, in such a way that would be the prominent one in my CV. So there is nothing like one CV that fits for all. So make modifications as per the requirements of the position that has opened. Okay, those are some of the things that is coming to my mind. Research and teaching experiences to showcase on your CV would be great.
Okay.
One
Anyone
point
else?
I can add it over here.
Okay.
I agree with Shruti about the number game of the publication, but to some extent, I really think that depends on your field of study.
Yeah.
For some field, it is possible that you get a couple of publications in less time. But in my case, specifically, if I talk about biochemistry or biology or molecular biophysics, it takes a huge amount of time to publish even a good publication. So I would say the qualitative publication is one of the important factor as well, and quality of your work. So if you are able to convince the person or the interviewer, if you are applying for postdoc job, that your work is good and you have worked hard through your conferences, through your academic awards, achievements, or honors, that would be sufficient for sure. Plus your interview. So even though if you have amazing CV, if you are not able to put yourself on the table in front of the interviewer, if you are not able to express yourself or express your work, that again comes to the communication skills and public speaking skills. So you should really work on that. So then you would be able to fly out anywhere. Thank you.
I would like to add one thing is that in industry jobs, of course, publication matters. If you have a publication, it'll be given importance, but also the soft skill sets, such as how much codes that you can learn for, especially for engineering jobs, or what kind of project that you have worked. And if you are from an engineering background, I would suggest try to create a GitHub account or some sort where you can list your projects that you have done, so that you can share those things directly with the industry people. That will be a good thing to, nothing to take away from the publication. Of course, publication is very important. But apart from that, if you're looking for industry jobs, try to focus on the soft skill sets, learn more different level of codes, and try to figure out which kind of work that are being prioritized in your field, and try to probably take courses which teaches those codes, or do some projects in your PhD that will help you secure those positions. For example, I know it is not my experience, a sort of second-hand experience, is that people in biology field, they sometimes take very good statistics courses, which can help them land industry jobs, because statistics is very important in the biology field.
If we have time, I will add one quick point to Shruti's idea that there are some positions in academia, they are highly teaching focused. So instructors or teaching assistant professor or teaching professor positions. And also the other rank is you have to do research, 50%, 60 or 75% teaching and sorry, 75% research and 1 course or 2 courses for the year. So definitely what I would do, then I have done, depending on what position I am applying, if it is a teaching centric position, I would highlight my teaching abilities the most than focusing on my research or the ideas I want to do as a research program. And the other way, if it is a research focused position, definitely make sure you highlight your collaborations, the publications, and new ideas you want to pursue when you are at that position. So that's something I did know ahead of the time, but those two types, and also postdoc position, there are teaching postdoc positions and research postdoc. So depending on where you apply, what position you apply, that depends really well.
Thank you. Does anyone else out there in the audience have any questions that they are wanting to ask? All right, if not, I have a question here for the panel. Going off of our current questions on CVs, this is more for resumes, but could probably also apply to CVs in some respect. How do you translate academic success into a resume for a non-academic job position? I will give a few seconds, and then if someone would like to give their thoughts on that question, I would.
Yeah, I think I partly answered this question in the last thing that I said, that for industry positions, they really look for what kind of soft skills that you have, like what kind of different languages that you know in programming, and what kind, like if you know, for example, in my case, I had to do a lot of high performance computing stuff, which is some partly falls under computer science. So if you have some that kind of skills, you need to highlight that, and also you need to first read the job description of the company or the job that has been posted and see what kind of soft skills they do require, and try to find out those sort of soft skills and highlight them in your resume that you have learned during your project. It may not be directly related to your project work that you have done in during your PhD, but don't discourage yourself from applying just because it's a bit different. The job is a bit different than what you have done. It really matters that how quickly you can learn a skill and apply them. So I would say try to focus on the fact that how efficiently that you learn something that which does not belong to your field, and then apply to work. So if you can demonstrate that in your resume, that will then you kind of stick out in respect to other candidates. Then you can show that, yeah, I was not aware of this code, but during this course or during this work, I learned about this code and I applied this. Or I did not learn how to use this, say, some sort of machine in your biology lab, but I learned quick how to use it. And I also learned how to repair if it gets damaged in somehow. So this kind of things that will help you transfer your academic heavy CV to a more industrial application.
So a couple of points I can add to this Rajashi's point. So number one, he was telling that do not hesitate to apply for the position. So when I was at that position, so a couple of positions were like highly demanding. For example, my CV was matching only to 30% or 40%. And we used to think, no, we are not get through this position at all. We will not get even the interview call. So that's a myth, I would say. So you can get again, it's all about playing the playing with the CV with your words according to the job description. So you will have to definitely work on that. With one CV or one resume, if you are applying for each and every job, that is not going to help at all. So one point is, I have seen my friends, I have seen my juniors, seniors. So a couple of times they used to complain. I was trying to keep this point for later, but that's fine because Rajesh already mentioned, so I'm just keeping it in that way. So for example, a job which is matching to your skill set around 90% or 100%, and even they do not get called from the interviewer for the interview for the initial process. So it can happen very often. But sometimes when your CV is matching to 30–40% of the job description and you get the call and you are able to get the job as well. So that's the same case for me as well. So I was from the bacterial background and right now I'm working with the human diseases. So you can say it's completely different, but the logics, the scientific skills, the ability to interpret the results and the convert your ideas for the betterment of the science. So these are the skills you learn through your graduate school period of time. So they want to look for these things, whether you have that logics in your science or not. So do not worry about or do not hesitate to apply for each and every position you come across, which is relevant to your position as well. So I would suggest that thing. Plus another thing, the question was mainly about how to translate your academic skills to non-academic skills. For example, teaching experience. So you are trying to deal with a lot of students. So ultimately you are getting exposure and you are developing the public speaking and communication skills. So this will go under that section. So likewise, you can convert or you can manipulate your words from your academic to non-academic resume preparation. So it's not that hard, but in the first go, it will be a little difficult. But once when you have the draft, it will be easier for you and you will be able to enjoy it for sure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Let's see. Let's change gears a little bit. So I think a lot of us graduate students can suffer with imposter syndrome. Have any of you experienced imposter syndrome? And could you please take us through how you overcame it or how you dealt with it? Or are you still sort of feeling like an imposter now that you've moved on from your programs? I see Dr. Chowdhury nodding, so maybe he has some insights.
Yeah, so that's a funny thing. Yeah, I mean it happens to everybody, and it's really hard to get out of. Even yesterday, I was speaking with my spouse, and I said, yeah, I got chosen to speak in this conference, but they could have done better. They could have got a better candidate to speak for this. And then she was saying, well, isn't that the imposter syndrome that you're going to talk about? So yeah, so it's always hard to get out of. But I would say what I tell myself is that, you know, in industry or in academia or everywhere, people will always judge you based on your work, based on what you say, what you do. Just don't include yourself as a judge in that in that pool too. Yeah, so the way to overcome it is because if you're chosen for a position, you can think of that. So there are many experts in that field, and then they chose you based on many other interviewee and a lot of pool of candidates. So they may have seen something, otherwise they would not have chosen you. So that is one thing that you can tell yourself that, yeah, no, I deserve where I belong. So that is one of my suggestions to encounter that.
Dr. Kumar, go ahead.
So it's pretty common to get this syndrome. We all are human beings, and if someone is saying that I'm not getting it, it's somewhere he or she is trying to lie. So the best, that how to overcome it, like the first of all, like that you are working, that's fine. So everyone has their some of close friends. Close friends, when I say close friends, means a very good friend. So you can sometimes get the idea about yourself from your friends or from your major advisor. So your major advisor can play better part in this. So a lot of time we are not convinced that this position is for us. So that has happened to everyone, for me as well. But here you have your committee member, your major advisor, or the professors, your good friends. Sometimes they try to enlighten you that, okay, this is something deserving for you and you deserve it. So it's pretty common. Do not hesitate or do not think much about it at all.
I think I would add a comment there. I think I agree with everyone else. Imposter syndrome may be something that most of us, if not all, has experienced or still going through. So that's very common. And I have gone through that, still going through it. One thing that has really helped me to overcome this is attending professional development events that specifically targets these kind of situations. So at Clemson, I mean, as a faculty member at Clemson, I was fortunate to go through several professional development programs that is directed toward new faculty and especially women faculty. And I can see so many female students here, and the challenges through which we are undergoing is more than double compared to our male counterparts. That is a reality. And you can look at how women are performing in science. And I mean, I don't want to go to all those like issues, but anyway, let me come back to this one, the imposter syndrome. So at Clemson, for faculty members, there were a lot of professional development events specifically targeting the women faculty, where they talked about how to highlight yourself and how to be the best proponent of yourself, and how to showcase yourself and how to believe in yourself, things like that. And that has helped me a lot to deal with imposter syndrome.
Okay, let me take a quick stop and ask if the audience has any questions or would like asked. All right, if not, I will ask another question I have here. Maybe take the panel back to when they were PhD students. So how did you prepare for your department's qualifying exams? Do you have any tips on that for those of us who have not gone through our qualifying exams yet? Any resources you used, study tricks, something, or just a general piece of advice you think would be helpful?
Are you talking about preliminary exams?
Yeah, the preliminary exams. Yeah.
I would start by adding one general comment. And again, one thing I have done, it worked really well with me and also our group members, that we make comments or we have a journal kind of thing, sharing for the group members, whoever is going to be juniors. Always very helpful to talking to the seniors, no matter oral exams, prelims, defense, or job application, anything. Always get the help for being through that earlier. And I would say, no matter what situation you are in, that stress level, everyone has to go through it. After the prelim, after the defense, I could say, okay, that's what very easy. Your advisor will help you. That's just 1 hour, 2 hour questioning session. You present, they will ask you a question, or you have to take an exam. But I have been through that. All of us have been through that before the day before. Yes, that's a really hard feeling. And that is something we all have to get through. And always there's resources inside the department or study groups or anyone in the research group. So many things we can share among And I believe in every department, every research group, we should have something.
Yeah, I would like to add the very good points. I would like to add that for the prelims or qualifying examinations, first try to find out, important thing is the format is a bit different. It varies from one department to another one. In my department, it was a written exam of, I think, 5 or 6 subjects, followed by a research problem that was given to us. We need to solve the problem, write it, a report, and present it in front of the respective dissertation committee members. So I would suggest first figure out who else in your department is going through that preliminary examination process along with you, because a group study is very important aspect of it. So if you study based on 2-3 people, for example, we may at that point, I think 5 or 6 graduate students appeared in that prelim exam in our department. So we created a research group. We found out the previous year's questions for 5 years, and also some good university, like we went through, like Penn State and MIT. They have a list of qualifying exam questions. So we tried to solve it, and also we shared the on another important thing is when there is a coursework, please keep your coursework materials intact. Nowadays all e-copies are available, so that you can go back to the previous assignments that a particular professor is assigned, and chances are 80 to 90% will be the similar questions as he or she assigned in that in the coursework. So if you have that ready in your hand and don't have to go through look behind your old exercise books, old notes, so it will be very good for you to while you're in early graduate school to keep all this information within reach, and you can easily access, because organization is very key here. So if you have all the assignment that you have done, all the questions that have been done in that particular course, you can easily go through, and you don't have to start from scratch for a coursework you have taken 2 years ago. So that is organization. The key points will be organization, group study, and also if there is a particular research problem, then it is on your PhD topic. So then you will be good at it. But the rest will be this will be the best way to deal with that.
Does anyone else on the panel have any insights they would like to share?
I can just add one more point. I mean, I completely agree, because for each department, this prelim exam pattern is different. So you cannot compare from one department to another at all. For example, in my biochemistry department, so you'll have to present 3 projects, and out of which your committee member will accept 1, and you'll have to make the grant submission based on the NIH format, and you'll have to present and defend your work, and that work should not be relevant to your PhD work. So it's in this process, I would say your seniors again are the most important keys, because they have gone through this process, and they can help you the most in terms of preparation, whether it is a writing process or defending your project as well. So you can arrange a couple of meetings with your seniors or give them presentation while you are done with your preparation and all, and they can do cross questioning and all those things. So these things would be helpful for sure. Apart from that, you'll have to be more concentrate on your coursework, because most of the time 70 to 80% questions will be revolving around your coursework, and others are based on your research projects, what you are developing or what you are presenting. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, we have a question from the chat. Thank you. It is, what is something at K-State that you absolutely love being part of? So
I can start with this to answering this question. So I really miss teaching students at K-State. So that was the most amazing part for me at K-State. really miss interacting with the students, and you learn a lot, you give, you teach a lot to the students, and at the same time you get a lot of, whether it is in terms of your education, in terms of your work, in terms of culture exchange, a lot of amazing insights from your students. So this is one of the parts.
Okay. Dr. Chowdhury, do you have any thing that you missed from K-State?
Yeah, I mean, I like the way that there is a lot of cultural exchange in K-State. Apart from your study background, you can learn a lot about the people, different countries. There is a coffee that organized by Coffee Hour, ISSS, I think, and also every country have some sort of they can represent their countries in different cultural exchange programs, such as Sanskriti in ISA, and also Sri Lankan Students Association, Bangladesh Students Association. So you can, so that is one thing that I, kind of, I will say I loved it in K-State, and I have been to Missouri and Missouri S&T. There is also there, but I think in Manhattan it is much more vibrant, and I liked about it.
Okay.
One thing I can just add it quickly here, that enjoy your graduate school days, because in the professional background, I don't know about the people who are working in academic settings, for example, Shruti and Nandana, but in industrial settings, you're not going to have that kind of fun what you are getting in graduate school. So explore the options properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also add that I felt something I'm missing, that the community feeling back in Kansas. It always felt that we felt the most because we were from a really different background from Asia. Then we came to Kansas. Not to say it is a smaller community or a smaller university, but we felt always we belong there. Then something myself and me and my wife, we talk, if there's a faculty position opening at K-State, definitely that's the first place we would go. We would like to raise our kids. Always we felt it is safer, and we were always welcome over there. And the bigger the places you go, bigger communities in the city, you feel like, okay, yes, we are here, we belong, but it's not the same feeling back over there. And also, apart from all these research, getting ready for your job, and the mental health is very, very important. And I miss the days we played, me, Ashish, and many of us, we played cricket every weekend. That is something, I'm getting older, but still, I wish if we had that time. So as Ashish said, use the best out of your graduate school to do many things. Then after, when you join academia or industry, things you could do elsewhere is limited.
Yeah.
Many things you have to take care of.
Completely agree.
Dr. Narayanu, do you have anything that you miss at K-State?
Oh yeah, so many, hard to list. I mean, I really like the points that other people already made. I completely agree. The inclusiveness K-State offered was one of the best things I could think of about K-State. I always felt that belongingness at K-State. So that's very important. And when I think about some fun things at K-State, I remember about my involvement in the International Students Association and Indian Students Association. It was both were great opportunities to involve in extracurricular or fun activities. And yes, I would also agree with others. Enjoy your graduate school. This is the last chance to do all those fun activities. Once you enter the workforce, things are drastically different.
All right. Okay. I have another question. If you had to do graduate school all over again, oh goodness, what would you do differently? So, is there anything like if you, I guess, start it from square one, what would be something you would do to maybe make your life easier or maybe more interesting?
Yeah, I would suggest I will not leave the assignments till the last night. That will be one thing I will do. No, jokes apart, I guess in graduate studies, student, having an internship, industrial or any research institute, it really helps in your professional life. I kind of miss that I did not push much for going an internship. So I think if you can, be it a paid or non-paid internship, try to do it for one semester at least in your graduate career. That will help. That will not only build connections and also give you an edge for finding jobs. So that is one thing that I would probably like to do again if I had to start it, the graduate thing again. Yeah.
I also like to share a mistake that I did when I was a graduate student at K-State. When I started my program, I started a little late, so I missed all the orientation part. And I think that was the greatest mistake I had when I started my program. And I had to figure out everything by myself. And when I started my position at Clemson, I realized how important these orientations are and the type of information that you could get at the very beginning. Otherwise, you don't know about anything. You need to figure out everything, where to go to library. Is there a library in the university? Or is there a graduate school? I mean, who would be the person at graduate school to go to for formal stuff, paperwork or things like that? Where is registrar's office or things like that, many things. So orientation is very, very important. I missed that when I was a graduate student, and I would never recommend to any new graduate students to miss that.
I would take a different perspective of this one. This is something I mentioned to all my TAs whenever they are teaching for me, when we have interactions. If I were to do a PhD at this age right now, if I were to start, I would not. Because for me, it takes so much energy, demands so much energy. You have to go through those 5 years, 6 years. But that experience is the one making you who are you today, and how you will survive the rest of your life in this academia field or the industry. So make the most out of that experience. You will get only one chance to step that 5 years, 5.5 years, 6 years. So make the most of that opportunity. Then without the help of your advisor, you will survive in the research field or the industry or teaching field. So life, once in a lifetime experience that will decide everything which is coming in your way afterwards.
2 points I have, not related to academics at all. Number one, to do my research, sometimes to do more research, canceled a lot of plans. I would never do that if I had to do again graduate school. So, and another point is, I would have, if I get chance once again, then I would really join more and more communities, international communities, because one of the best platform to express yourself, learn a lot of things, different culture, different communities, the amazing feeling you get, and you will not get that one in your after graduate school at all. So that's the best part.
Okay. So we're sort of getting close to the end of our session. But before I ask sort of the final question all the panelists will have to answer, is there anyone in the audience who has any burning questions or that they would like to ask any of the panelists? In the chat. You could submit them via the chat if you want, or just pop on your mic.
Well, I had one question that might help all of us. So graduate school, there's a lot of ups and downs. So really, I guess my question is, what has helped you to keep an even keel perspective so that you don't let the highs get too high or the lows too low?
Thank you.
The same answer for me, I would start it. So academics is different, like you are doing your research, you are doing your education, but apart from that, you need to get involved in a lot of different activities, and that keeps you going all the time, whether you're high or down. For example, cricket was one of the part for us. We are Asians, and cricket is one of the game we love the most. And every weekend, whether the week is going good or bad, so that was kind of a regular process, and we used to enjoy the most, or participating in different community activities and all those things. So you should not let your hobbies go down. So you should also keep your hobbies along with your academics as well. So in that way, the graduate school would be fun for sure, all the time.
Yeah, I would say that, yeah, some physical activity is a very good point there. So we can, be it cricket, be swimming or gym, you can get involved, and also probably try to, if you're going through some sort of trouble with your advisor or something like that, try to reach out to other people who, may have gone through a similar situation, because when you share these problems that you are having, or if you have a platform where you can share, that will be a great opportunity to, kind of go through that, the ups and downs of graduate school. So I would suggest try to find some sort of platform where you can discuss the problems that you're having. And also, I don't know if someone is working on that. Like, I think I know that's it's kind of a problem in the graduate school, that sometimes the graduate students feel kind of lonely. They don't have anyone to communicate to. So probably if there is some sort of community where graduate students from different streams can share their problems, because you're all going through the same sort of situations, that will be a great thing. So that's kind of like my suggestion that may be done in K-State and all other universities.
One point, like the funny point I just want to mention, when I came to Boston, like 3 or 4 months before. So I'm just trying to explain you the difference between the university town or a big city. So we have a group of meet people after graduating school, and people post there just for looking for friends, that we are new here, we don't know anyone here, and we would like to meet new people, and we would like to meet. So this is the opportunity every university town offer. For example, K-State, amazing place to make a lot of good friends, to get involved in a lot of different activities. So that helps a lot. That's all.
I agree with all the other experience sharing. And I would add just a follow-up comment to that. I would say don't postpone your enjoyment to the end of your PhD. If you want to do something today, do it today. Today is the best day. And there is nothing wrong there is nothing wrong in having a Facebook account, or there is nothing wrong in being active in social media. You can still be a great graduate student, and you can do wonderful things. You can discover excellent stuff in science. I would suggest be the best whole person you could. So basically, don't postpone your enjoyments to the end of the PhD. That would help you manage the ups and downs quite a bit. Make a very good friend circle around you. That would help you a lot, I believe.
All right. We have one more, I think we could fit in one more question, quick question before I ask the final question. We have, what's the best advice your mentor gave you? So
I think I'll go first because I have the very good answer for this. So
Okay.
when I graduated, my advisor he gave me a card and he gave me a Swiss knife. For those who don't know what Swiss knife is, it's like a small segment where there are multiple knives are there, one for different purposes. And in the card, he wrote that your skill sets are like this Swiss knife. There are many, but if you don't use them regularly, it will stop functioning. So it's kind of a good thing had said that you have learned a lot of things in graduate school, and in order to go ahead in your life, you need to use those skill sets in where it matters. So I think that was very good message from him.
I will rephrase it as not only the advisor that I got the best advice when I was stepping out from after my defense. It was from a committee member that he said a secret behind a successful PhD is picking a best PhD advisor, and which I thought he or she told me beforehand when I was going for picking the best my advisor. And I am really fortunate, as one of you mentioned earlier, that we have so many resources back in Kansas, K-State, so many really wonderful people, advisors. And I'm really fortunate that I was working in one of the biggest physics education research groups in the country, in the world. And I engaged with 3 faculty members from K-State, and all 3 of them are superstars in the physics education research group. So wherever I go, if I have my name next to any presentation, something, they always talk about the K-State's PER group. So thank you.
Yeah, my answer is aligning with Nandana's one about picking up the best advisors. So I know a couple of people like who are doing their research from very big institutions, but they are not happy, not feeling mentally fit to work in those labs. So that is one of the important things which we need to keep always in point, that we need to work keeping our mental health in proper place. So this is the one thing, choose your advisor or any kind of thing wisely and think twice or thrice before taking any steps. So this is the advice for my advisor as well.
With that, if we have no more insights from the advisors of our panelists, I will ask our final question. What are the top 3 advices that you could give current grad students that to help them succeed in graduate school and prepare for the job market? So I will ask Dr. Narayanan to start.
Okay. I would emphasize on the importance of co-learning. Try to build a good community of fellow graduate students around yourself, and learn by interacting with them, and learn from the mistakes that your friends have made, and share your mistakes that you made. I learned most from my mistakes, and getting to know about similar stuff from others. So, I mean, one of my friends used to tell me, build your village, which is very true. So that village would be a major thing in your success. And build great relationship with your mentors too, because the role that my mentors had in my life is there is no comparison for that. That was above and beyond everything else. So build a good relationship with your mentors or your advisors, because they are the experts in your field. They would be able to give you the best advices that anyone else could give you. So relationship with mentors is very important. And when you plan your own research project or your own program, try to think about what you want to do in the future as well after your graduate program. For example, what if you are planning to stay in academia, what kind of a program you are planning to build, your research goals, who would be the collaborators that you would be looking for, and try to modify your own research program in such a way that it will help you as a catalyst to build your own program later on after graduate school. And that was a great advice that my mentor, my major professor for my PhD gave me. When I was looking for adding committee members to for my PhD dissertation committee, he suggested one thing. Think about who would be the best collaborators for you after your graduate program. When you start your own program as a faculty, try to build relationship with them through your dissertation committee. That was one of the best advices that he gave me, and it is helping me even now. Some of my committee members are still my collaborators in my program, and I could divert to some other people as well through those directions. And then try to get some grant writing experience if you are planning to go to academia, because that is an experience that I could not build very much when I was a graduate student. And in academia, it's mainly about writing proposals and being successful in research proposals. So that kind of a training, if you could acquire that during your graduate program, that would be wonderful, because teaching experience, you might get that because many students work as teaching assistants, and research, you might be great researchers, I know, in your research program. So you would certainly get those kind of experiences. But grant writing, I think there are not so many opportunities during graduate school to get a very good grant writing skill. I know there is NSF, GRFP and things like that, but not so many students would be trying for that. At least we were not encouraged so much to apply for that program. It's not other people's fault. I did not try to apply for those kind of positions. I mean, those kind of opportunities, but I would suggest try to go with those kind of training experiences as well.
All right. Let's hear from Dr. Chowdhury. Your advice you would give.
Yes. So the first point, I would say that advices. First point is try to get probably an internship, either in industry or some research lab. Or if you cannot, at least try to collaborate in your PhD such a way that you get to work with an industry or research lab, because that will build your connection and also give you some exposure on how these industries or research lab works. They may be working in a different capacity than academia. Second point is what kind of a takeaway point from Dr. Narayan is like, network is very important. Try to attend many professional society meetings, and also the follow up with people. Try to have an intelligible conversation with the different speakers, so that they remember you when you're applying for a position or a postdoc opportunities. And also probably try to go to conference which to enhance your skills. Like if you're in engineering, you can go to some programming language or software pertinent to your subject. That conference that will help you not only connect with other people, but learn new skills that you are missing in your in your academic career. And also third point is try to find the industries that are working in your field, what kind of different works they are doing, which you are missing in your academic projects. Try to get professional level courses to, so that if you are trying to transit from academia to industry, there is not much mismatch, so you can easily shift towards industry if you want. So these are the kind of 3 important points that I would mention.
All right. Let's hear from Dr. Welly Waria.
Okay, so finally, I will make 2 points that it worked really well with me, that in grad school or afterwards, try to do the things you like the most if you want to survive or last longer. So it is about picking a research group, could be, or picking the job academia versus industry. So if I eat, always I talk about this to grad students, like I eat only the food I like the most. I have the choice, so why don't we do with our job as well? So picking an advisor, picking a research group or the job. So think thoroughly before you make your choice. That's one thing. And also, I would always say that to the international students like me, a graduate student, that when we graduate from the grad school, it is highly unlikely for me to have a $1 million NSF grant. If I had one, there will be many institutions I could apply, I would get hired. And it is possible, but very minimum chance I see even for the local students have a really big grant when they defend their thesis. So one thing I found, the skill I have to sell myself in the job market is my teaching ability. If I am going for my academia job, or if you are going for the industry, you have to sell yourself that you should have communication skills that you build up within the grad school. So I would say any opportunity you have within the grad school to develop yourself, step out of the comfort zone, always try to go reach the higher goals as being a teacher, effective teacher, good communicator, science communicator. So any opportunity you have, go for it. And everyone, good luck. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you. And finally, Dr. Kumar.
All right.
your advice.
So the people who are looking for jobs, so this is something for them, because this is not my perspective as well. So this is after discussing a couple of my friends as well, and came to the conclusion. So the number one is about the job posting, that a lot of time I already mentioned that the job posting skills would be sometimes 90% related to our job or profile, or 30%. So, and people hesitate, and I used to hesitate, my friends used to hesitate, but we somehow got the courage to apply for those positions, and people have got those positions already working. So do not hesitate to apply for the jobs. If you think that that job is for you and you can work good, or you can work better for that job posting, try to apply for that job. And you do not know the future, you never know that what's coming next for you. The second thing is, do not do the mistake to send the same CV or resume for each and every job application. You'll have to manipulate, you'll have to change your CV and resume all the time for each and every different position. This sounds like a pain, but yes, 15-minute or 20-minute work extra on the CV and resume to match to the job posting will help you a lot. The number 3 is, it's a number game, applying, especially in the industry, applying for the industry. It's a number game. Sometimes you will be picked up so quickly, sometimes it will take enormous amount of time. So you'll have to wait, but just do not lose hope, keep applying and keep applying. So this is what I have to say for job posting. And finally, I would like to thank everyone, K-State people, for inviting me for this panel discussion again. Yeah.
All right.
To you. Yeah.
Thank you, panelists, for attending and talking to us and giving us your insights. On behalf of myself and the Graduate Student Council and all the graduate students in the chat who are currently sending their thank you messages, thank you so much for spending your time with us here. With that, everyone have a good day. See you
Yeah.
around.
It's a
I,
good-
I, I, I
Take
want to
care.
thank you all, the organizers, for doing such an excellent job of organizing this event. And thank you for having us. It was great meeting with all of you and interacting with all of you. Thank you. Have a great
Thank you.
weekend.
You too, everyone.